Hey, my name is Side Nate, but you can call me Side, and welcome. And for those returning, I see you, boo. Hey, happy Wednesday, everyone. Director Kjun just posted his Wednesday devlog response to Friday's community feedback, and to say this week's response is more or less similar to last week's, with a few areas being brought up, such as groups finally getting restructured for the autonomous development for both playable and NPC characters, better graphics for high-end NPCs, and much more. There wasn't a request for this week's video, so I'll post mine that I posted earlier today on for this Wednesday's devlog post. I wasn't able to get to the Friday one. Other stuff happened, but that's not the point. The point is being that I did post, but I did show this right here, so I'm going to show it right here. Remember, if you want your request highlighted in the weekly devlog update videos, just leave it down in the comment section and it'll get a chance to shine on the next update video. Anyway, with that being said, let's just jump right into his response, shall we? Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank everyone who took the time to share such detailed feedback. This round of feedback included many specific thoughts on where Inzoi needs more depth, which elements are interrupting the flow of gameplay, and how Inzoi can further strengthen its own identity. I would like to share in more detail what direction the development team is currently considering. The biggest direction we confirmed from this week's feedback is that personality, emotions, relationships, skills, autonomous behavior, group activities, and school life should not exist as separate systems. Yes, I remember him saying this last week on Friday, that they need to make this more cohesive, and that has been I would say the consistent theme for all of these back and forth, the feedback back and forth. As much as I play the game, I begin to notice, especially when I'm now playing family gameplay, because for a lot of my different gameplays there are like single zois, and so I don't see much of the other things about having like I would say it doing stuff more feasibly. But now that I'm playing more family stuff, now that they have more family related stuff, like, you know, kids going to school, or specifically high school, and doing more stuff with the babies, I noticed that, yeah, some of this stuff just needs to be more cohesive, especially like from when you're running a business. Like right now, my current Zoe that I'm just having the most fun with is Nova. I'm going to the next chapter in her life, because right now her daughter, because she had a girl, but you'll get to see her name and see everything that's going on between her and Rosie and all that stuff. Like, just you just tune in for that. I will have that episode up, trust. But right now, her daughter's a child, and she's going through different stuff like that. And then she has her business. She finally managed to get her business. She has her salon, and her best friend Rosie are running the salon / cafe together. I can't wait till y'all see the name for that too. But but yeah, they got that running together, and I noticed in some ways that I wish they would go deeper into like doing things for the what I'm trying to say, for the businesses and stuff. I play my games on 96 minutes because that's how I get the most stuff done. I can collectively say that I would like for, if your Zois are having a business and they hire someone that's a player in your town, or even if they're just an NPC, like a random NPC, or even your pre-made Zois, that is considered their job, being a barista or whatever they're being, you know what I'm saying, that should show up on their career panel. And I feel like that needs to be worked on. I feel like they also need to put it in there so that when they need breaks, that they take breaks, because they need breaks. Like, there's no set way to set up breaks for your Zois, and I don't like that our Zois just constantly working in their businesses, whereas when they go to the regular jobs, they have a break. And I understand why they have it like that, because for those businesses, because you have just list tasks to do on those businesses. You can either do them or you don't, and you can run the chance of getting fired. So there needs to be some restructuring even for that. So hopefully we'll find a way that they will find a way to make that more cohesive as well. So again, fingers crossed. I need to actually put that in my next bit of feedback, that for businesses and for regular jobs, even though when they go back to fixing on the other jobs, that we find a balance that makes it make sense, if that makes sense to you guys, and not necessarily just give tasks specifically for our Zois. But if you're, say for instance, your Zoi is hired at a business, and their business specifically for them to just make coffee, then their task should be to make coffee and refill it, and only refill or do stuff for that if there's space for it. And we need more, not even more, just better display items or better displays. Excuse me. We need better displays, because right now the current displays we have, I do not like them. They only give you 4 slots. No, if my Zoe makes a meal or a big platter of things, it needs to be able to put everything that you made, because otherwise you're losing money. You know what I'm saying? That's money on the table being swept off. Like, so we need better displays, when we need to be able to display it in a way. And if we want to have a small shop, it will still look nice in those small shops. Anyway, let's get back. I keep getting distracted. I get to rambling. Since many of you have continued to raise this point, the Inzo team sees it as a very important task and is preparing development around it. Okay. Recently, so I guess they're being more concrete about this. Anyway, recently, it would not be an exaggeration to say that a significant part of our overall development direction has been focused on improving this sense of connection. Okay, so he says that that's what they've been trying to do, and they're just trying to get a better footing with the community is truly wanting. So again, kudos to them, trying to, wade through and trying to see where they need to go and how to go based off the community's feedback. I am very much more active in talking in this space than I have ever been before. And it feels good being able to actually be heard and not just coasting along. And that's a good way to be. Not all studios need to take this approach, obviously, because some people, they find more discourse than they find, pleasure in doing it. So if it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But it's been working so well for Inzoi. And so I'm so very glad that they do allow us this. And for those of us who are very much, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, we're finally getting out of that mindset and enjoying for what it is. It's a community project. Even though it's being backed by a bigger company, that bigger company has not haven't been present, but they're still back there looming. But at the same time, the forefront of it is a very warm and inviting space for improvement and for, just us coming together as a community to work together to make this game what we want it to be. So anyway, enough with that. Yep. I'm going to get back into what I was talking about because I get so easily distracted. Tangent over. Okay. Anyway, in particular, we carefully reviewed the feedback that Zoe's personality and traits need to be reflected more clearly in their actual behavior. Even in the same situation, each Zoe should react differently. Now, they did show a video concerning this about I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. They were showing Zoes with different personalities reacting to infidelity right in front of their face. So that's a good step in the right direction. So hopefully they continue doing that with more than just, that kind of stuff, but with other situations again. So when their priorities for autonomous behavior, conversation style, emotional expression, and daily routines vary, the character can feel much more alive. That is so very true. We also believe that emotional expression should not simply be more intense, but should appear naturally according to the situation and the Zoe's personality. Yes, because not every Zoe is going to be jumping and hopping and whoo. No, some Zoes are like, what the heck? Like, that would be great. And then again, for them to add more personalities and different characters. And they did bring this up again, like I said, on Friday, or either it was last Wednesday, or so. It was one of these updates. They brought up that they wanted to basically restructure personalities and characteristics and giving us more in those areas. So anyway, I just can't wait to see, because they're also going to be doing some other things and stuff like that. Oh, I meant to also put in that the fact that they're going to be doing a hot patch or a hot fix for autonomous behavior. That was one of the things I wanted to note earlier in the video, but here I am seeing it right here. They are going to be putting a hot fix in for a lot of the autonomous behavior, because I've noticed recently in my gameplays that Zoes are, when they finish their meal, they're picking up the entire meal that they just finished making and basically, again, throwing away food and money. Like, we're struggling out here. Hello? So why are we throwing away an entire meal after you've just finished eating it and you're picking up all the plates on the table? And then the Zoe's also running in after the Zoe, calls them to dinner, or ignoring the fact that Zoe's cooking and stuff like that. So, but that's further along in the video. I'm sorry. I started yapping again. Anyway. Back to what we were doing. While adding interactions based on time, place, and role, we also identified a bug where conversations were occurring abnormally often. We also found cases where a Zoe would suddenly bring up negative conversations when left alone. Yes, because of this, we are reviewing the conversation selection logic, which had not been sufficiently refined until now. Some improvements will be applied through tomorrow's patch. See? Our goal is to make conversations occur not as simple random events, but as natural results of accumulated context, moods, and situation. We want players to feel that they can understand why a certain topic came up at that moment. Yes, I would love to, like, say for instance, that say parents were discussing about having kids, and the husband pops back up later and say, you know what, let's have a kid. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Or let's say Zoe was like frustrated with their friend or whatever like that, and they come back and say, you know, that really hurt my feelings. Like that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So I hopefully they give us more options like this and give us more context and stuff like that. Because some of the things, like I've even noticed that there's even like a wall. Like once you become friends, like we don't even get to hug our friends. Like I would love to hug my friend. Like I hug them, and you know, and that's a part of a friendship reaction. But I would love for them to add more like stuff like that, like giving your friend a hug, or if you're one of those friends that like to like say for instance, like I'm emotionally needy, or a charmer Zoe likes to give kisses, but give kisses on the cheek, something like that. So that would be, you know, again, appropriate. We also reviewed many opinions about the text UI. Many players felt that the current structure, where a small notification appears first and the player can open the phone when they want to check it, feels more natural and realistic. Yes, don't change it unless somebody said they specifically would like that. You know, if they do, then they give it as an option. On the other hand, there were also concerns that a full message pop-up could block the screen and interrupt the flow of gameplay. Therefore, we currently plan to maintain the existing text message UI structure. So they're going to keep it as is because a lot more people were against it than for it. So, however, apart from the UI structure, we do believe the context of text messages needs to better reflect each Zoe's personality, intimacy, relationship status, emotions, and situational context. Recently, while reviewing issues related to emotions and conversations within the team, we also found that some emotion colors overlap and can be confusing. Because of this, we plan to reorganize the emotions colors as well. Once this is ready, we will share the results as soon as possible. We will also improve the names of interaction, targets, and conversation mood UI so that emotions, situations, and context can be communicated more clearly. Okay. As far as relationships and stuff like that, we need a better conversation UI, or the pie menu, or whatever you want to call that thing. That needs to be better structured. And if we're going to do small talk, to not put work related stuff in there, because if you're starting off with I ain't gonna say that. Those, I would say the work conversations definitely need to be conversation points or whatever that happen the least, and the friendship based off the context needs to be put forward. So they'll have small talk about maybe a thing or two about work, but mostly about, you know, building their friendship and getting to know the person. And if you do decide to share your interests with another Zoe, they need to, when you click on them, say for instance, like I said, if my Zoe met another pre-made Zoe in the world, and that Zoe shares their interests with them, then it needs to be reflected when I click over to the other Zoe and they see that they learned that specific thing about that Zoe's preference. That needs to be a thing, because right now it is not a thing, and I would like for that to be a thing. But yeah, we also took the feedback on the skill system very seriously. Many players said that for skills to feel like real growth, elements such as knowledge, practical experience, aptitude, failure, feedback, specialization, and rewards need to be better connected. Okay. It is difficult to change the entire structure all at once, but we will continue reviewing ways to make skills feel like a more meaningful long-term growth experience. Okay. I see that. We will also work on aligning the tone of skills with emotions. And in the long term, we hope to make abilities naturally influence not only balance, but also careers, economic activity, and conversation ability. We are also paying close attention to feedback about group activities and the experience of doing things together. In situations involving family, friends, dates, school, restaurants, or clubs, if Zoes scatter and act separately instead of behaving like people who came together, the sense of relationship and situational context becomes weaker. It does, because right now Zoes will go around doing everything else. And my biggest pet peeve right now is going to a restaurant to eat as a family. That is not a thing, because they go and sit somewhere else, and other Zoes will sit there and sit where you are with your family. And I'm like, don't you see I'm with my family right now having a meal? Who are you? You know? So it would be nice that if the game would recognize that if this is a group together, then they need to sit together, and then other Zoids need to respect that space unless they're inappropriate or something like that, and then not sit over there with that family or with that group of people unless they're friends and they know each other and they want to come over and say hey and or sit down with them, and that's different. So it needs, again, situational and contextual. Yes. We believe the game needs a structure where the purpose of a group naturally leads to actual behavior, such as sitting at the same table, eating together, watching TV together, dancing together, or moving together. Yes! Swimming together, going bowling together, all of that. And we need to be able to make our groups a little bit bigger, because right now we only can do up to 4 Zoids. So that's your Zoi and 3 other Zoids. We need more. Kjun, more. Anyway, because of the bug that caused too many conversations to occur, we apply somewhat stronger restrictions to casual chat behavior. However, it seems that cooperative actions did not sufficiently reflect target weighing in the same way conversations did. We are also fixing the recent issue where Zoids keep trying to leave the lot. Yes, because that's annoying as heck. We are preparing improvements in this area so that we can show better results in August. We also plan to adjust the data so that Zoids behave more appropriately in parks and outdoor areas. We also review feedback on autonomous eating behavior. Situations where Zoi eats a snack while a family meal is being prepared, cooks new food when leftovers are available, or repeatedly cooks even when they are not hungry can reduce the natural feeling of a life simulation. Yes! Oh, good God. I said this earlier, but yeah. While adding iterations based on time, place, and role, we also experimented with behavior where a parent character prepares food when present. However, when we try to add intention to every action, the simulation can sometimes become unstable in unexpected ways. So this is not an easy task. Even so, we do not intend to give up. We will organize the meal rules that many players have requested and also work on increasing the variety of food. Yay! Because we definitely need more variety of food and be able to make those foods into big meals. Because if I'm making curry, I'm making a big pot of curry for my entire family. You feel me? And having one single plate of curry, no, I refuse. Oh God! But again, I can't wait, because for me, cooking in games, regardless of how the cooking looks, if it's well done, implemented, especially with you having whatever kind of items you need to make that meal, feels so good to me. I like doing that. I like having a crafting system in the game, which would be awesome if they had a crafting system in this game where you can make up your own meals with different foods, variations and stuff like that, and come to your own conclusions of what that meal will be or what it'll be called. Because honestly, wouldn't that be cool if you could be able to make a combination of foods together and call it a struggle meal? Like, that'd be crazy. Like, this game would be so freaking lifelike if for real, if we could be able to make up our own recipes, like just putting food together and call it this. Like, that'd be crazy. Anyway, we also received a lot of feedback about school and teen content. Many players responded positively to the high school update, but there were also many suggestions regarding school hours, club activities, homework, movement flow, uniforms, lockers, prom, and communicating methods. We believe school should not simply be a place for classes, but a space where friendships, clubs, teenage daily life, and growth events all occur together. We clearly recognize the concerns regarding graphical quality as well. Optimization remains an ongoing task, but many players also want to experience sufficiently high visual quality on high-end systems. The Ultra option needs to truly feel like Ultra, and issues such as vegetation, lighting, reflection after rain, distance rendering, and the perceived impact on DLSS have continued to be mentioned. Many players also requested that low-end optimization and high-end visual quality preservation be separated as much as possible. We're also reviewing graphical improvements for the next update, although the actual results are likely to arrive around October. We want Inzoi to offer options that allow high-end users to enjoy a better graphic. We also consider the feedback that the city needs to feel more alive very important. A city should not simply be a beautiful background, it should feel like a living space where NPCs move with purpose and where activities and events appropriate to each location naturally take place. We will continue working to create more diverse spaces that support this feeling. Kjun, with that being said, residential lots. Okay, boo? Residential lots, please. We need them so bad. Please, please. if you want your city to feel alive, put more spots where I can put my Zoids, because you better believe it will be alive by that point. Because I got a lot of them, and I have a lot of like different ideas of families that I want to do. Because right now 14 is definitely not enough if that's the max we get, and that's in Bliss Bay. So imagine the other spots that don't have 14 lots, they have less than that. Because I think Chihaya has the least amount, and then after that is Do 1, and again Bliss Bay being the highest at 14. Like, no, I want to so badly do legacy plays, gameplays and stuff like that on Inzoi, but it is near impossible. Not because of data corruption and things like that, but because there's not enough space to put our Zoids, like, at all. Like, especially after your kids grow up and move on, they need to be able to move in their own house. So yeah, we also reviewed feedback related to cast, hair, clothing, build mode, and canvas, more diverse hairstyles and clothing customization that reflects different ages and cultures, search and filter functions, better management of downloaded buildings, and improvements to lot information and previews are all important for making creation and sharing more convenient. We will take these opinions into account as we continue shaping the development direction. Once again, thank you to everyone who shared such detailed feedback. We cannot reflect every opinion exactly as it is or implement everything immediately, but the key issues that have been raised repeatedly will continue to be reviewed internally and considered in our priority discussions. Some errors and improvements related to autonomous behavior will be addressed in tomorrow's hotfix. We will continue improving Inzoi so that characters, relationships, cities, and daily life can connect more naturally as a live simulation. Kjun. So that is what Kjun had to say this week. There was a lot of me doing a lot of rambling, but overall he did go into, again, more detail, and I do like that now that he's going in more detail with what the community is asking and giving feedback on, and just to clear up a lot of different things that people are saying that that the game needs. And so for them to just go into more depth with the community about what they understand, what the community is asking for, and other areas that need to be fixed up, like again said, the groups and just autonomous behavior and NPCs just doing other things that are contextual and situational. Because right now a lot of times they get into fights and stuff and they are feeling good and happy, and they just will be mean out of nowhere. And so, and it would be good for them to also, and I have to put in here also, that if another Zoid has an issue and they just want to be mean, then it needs to let us know clearly that it's not our Zoid is going to pick a fight, but it's the other Zoid that wants to come and pick a fight with them. And for our Zoids not to go over there to them for that fight, but for that Zoid to come over to our Zoid. So it therefore won't look as if our Zoids are going out to be mean. Because I think that's where a lot of confusion comes into, because I noticed that Nova was happy. Like, again, I'm going back to Nova because I was playing her recently. She was happy and chilling, and she was just chilling, but then she all of a sudden had a thing queued up for her to be mean. I'm like, what? But it wasn't even her. It was the other Zoid that wanted to be mean to her. So, because after the interaction happened, I looked and see, and she was like, well, that Zoid was being mean to me. But it did not clearly show that. You see what I'm saying? So they need to be able to show it so that if another Zoid is coming to pick a fight, that it shows that, and it is translated correctly to it being the other Zoid being the problem and not your Zoid. But yeah, but that's gonna be all for me, guys. Let me know down in the comment section how you guys feel about this Wednesday's devlog update. Do you feel like he really went into depth about what is needed for the game? Do you feel like these different areas are sorely needed to be fixed, or are you more like, well, I want more content, but then again, where they can go deeper for certain things, especially for quality of life improvements? Because one of my biggest quality of life improvements that I would love for them to implement is giving our individuals in our households permissions for the different things that they could have permissions for, like their doors, their beds, even though we can put who sleeps on what side of the bed, and they usually go by that as a permission. But let's go further. Let's do it for doors, let's do it for computers, let's do it for different items in their room, things like that. I would love that. Or they can put like their name on a meal and say, hey, this is my specific plate, don't you eat it. And then there could be malicious Zoids, they'll do it anyway. Stuff like that brings more gameplay. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we'll get that, or even be able to take lunches out for the kids can take lunches from home to school. That is also a great choice. Like you can still do that, kind of like putting food in the Zoid's inventory, and they can go to school, and when they go to be in school, they can take it out of their locker if they put it in there and eat it instead of eating the school lunch. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, Let me know down in the comment section what you guys feeling about this week's devlog post. And again, just put your comments down in the comment section. And if you have a request that you would like to be seen and put on the Discord, again, I try to make sure that I put everybody's request on the Discord. And again, you have a chance to get your comment highlighted. So yeah. Anyway, and like always, thank you guys so much for sticking out to the end of the video. If you like my content and want to support your girl, leave a like, comment, or subscribe for more videos like these where I go over most Wednesday and Friday devlog posts. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.